Namaste everyone. Today I felt like speaking a bit on true prayer. For many of us, we ask God for things, a particular relationship, finances, health, etc. And in India especially, the bhakti bhav is so strong that people tend to not only ask but demand and have an expectation that their wishes will be fulfilled. Asking is not really the problem, but the expectation is, because it means we want a certain outcome. Whether or not that outcome is good for us, we don't know. It reminds me of a sentence I read in a book on Ramana Maharshi's devotees. Ramana Periya Perunam is the name of the book, where someone asked Bhagawan if it was all right to ask for something. And he said it's perfectly all right, but whether or not you get it is not your concern. Leave it to the divine force. So many times I have received mails that I wanted this job so badly. I pleaded to my guru, my God, in my prayers. I didn't get it. I'm so disappointed. Why doesn't he or she listen to me? And I found the words of the American spiritual mystic and healer Joel Goldsmith very apt. And I would like to share those with you. He says, when we pray, we should release God from any personal obligation to us. Release Him in the awareness that we are trusting that which created this universe to maintain and sustain Himself and His creation. That we are trusting God in His infinite wisdom to be about His business, and God in His divine love to care for His own. When we do this, we are releasing God and no longer trying to channel Him in the direction of our personal desires. Actually, we shall find that we cannot release God, for God never was imprisoned in our mind or in our desires, nor was He ever obedient to our will. God will not change His ways to benefit or bless us. We must change our ways in order to receive God's grace. We cannot bring God to our disobedience and ignorance, but we can become obedient and spiritually wise. Let us give up every attempt to use God and every expectation that God will do our will or fulfill our desires and yield ourselves to Him. You see, that is the point which Joel Goldsmith makes often, and also, of course, all the masters, that if God is all-powerful, all-knowing, all-pervading, there is nothing that God does not know. So with that intuitive knowing, what happens is that our definition of true prayer starts changing. And it becomes less and less need-based, desire-based. And it becomes more of an acceptance of the will of God. I would like to read out one more passage. When we pray for ourselves or for our neighbors, we evidently think that we know better than God what our need is or what our neighbor's need is. And furthermore, that we have the love to want that neighbor to have it, but believe that God neither knows the need nor has the love to want to fulfill it. In our innermost heart, we know that that is not true, even though that is the human picture. Human picture or no human picture, however, it is not that way at all. God is not the servant of man, and God does not act in accordance with what man thinks God should be or how he should work. If it were left to man to guide the affairs of the world, all his friends and relatives would be blessed and all his enemies cursed. Then, tomorrow when his enemy becomes his friend, this procedure might be completely reversed. He might begin to pray for the enemy who has now become his friend and curse the friend who has now become his enemy. God is not like this. God is not changeable as we are, and we must give up these childish concepts of God and grow into spiritual adulthood. Not attempting to tell God what His grace should be or when, but resting in the confidence that His grace is our sufficiency, and releasing ourselves from the absurd idea that we can reach some God who may, if it pleases Him, do something for us. That's what I felt like sharing with you on true prayer in the words of Joel Goldsmith. This is from the book, A Parenthesis in Eternity. Namaste.